Hey y'all, it's Lindsay from Lindsay's Keto Kitchen, and we just got back from the mountains. So we have all these things we brought home. Can you see a lot of them right here on my counter? And I'm trying to throw something together tonight because I have not made a menu for this week yet. So I decided, since we had some leftover venison sausage, that we are going to make some sausage gravy to go on top of some keto cream cheese waffles that I'm getting ready to make. So that's what I'm going to go through right now, and then I'll go through the gravy and tell you guys a little bit about that. Okay, so I've already gotten everything ready in the bowl. Everybody can see right here. So I have doubled the recipe since we have a lot of kids and boys in our house. So it calls for 4 eggs. I have 8. It calls for 4 ounces of cream cheese, and I have 8, which it requires to soften. And if it's not softened, take it out of the aluminum wrapper and stick it in the microwave at 50% power for like 30 seconds at a time. It took me 2 of those cycles to get my cream cheese softened. So I put that in there. It calls for a dash of cinnamon, so I put that in there. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Of course, I'm doubling, so I did 4. It also calls for, let me look at my recipe, 1 tablespoon of your sugar substitute, so I did 2, of course, and this time I used my monk fruit sweetener. I also have the Swerve granulated sweetener, but I like to go back and forth. I just feel better about using something natural and wholesome like monk fruit and the organic stevia, so I just go back and forth. What else? Baking powder, which I have not added my baking powder yet. I need to do that here in a minute. Okay, so what else? It calls for 4 tablespoons of coconut flour, and if you have 4 tablespoons of something, that is actually a 1/4 cup. So I'm gonna multiply that times 2, and I'm gonna put a 1/2 cup of coconut flour in here. And what else does it require? I think that's it. So you can also, once you make the batter, if it sits for a little bit, there's our dog, it will start to thicken. You can add your milk, either almond milk or coconut milk, or I use the cashew milk. This is my favorite. I also use this in my coffee and with my Swiss Cocoa Keto OS Max. It's one of my favorite things. And then, of course, some butter. So I'm going to mix this up. Annabelle, do you want to help me?
Oh, and then right there.
This is life in our house. We have Fortnite going. Annabelle's doing some craft, and the dog wants to be fed. So here we go. I'm going to make waffles instead. Okay. Another trick that I have for eggs is if you accidentally get some eggshell into your mixture, you can use an eggshell to fish it out. Because I know that if any of you guys have ever tried to fish an eggshell out before, it like runs from you. It's difficult to catch. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was these. These are my favorite measuring spoons because they click together like this. See how one's inside of the other? They all go together. These are from Walmart, special from Wally World. And they have 2 of each, so like 2 different ones. So if I need to use like flour over here, I can use this for vanilla or water. So I'm not having to dry. I feel like I use measuring spoons and cups all the time. So I'm going to turn this up so it'll mix a little faster. Okay, so we're back. So I'm ready to go. The other thing I wanted to mention was the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Oh, got to get that right. And I'm going to multiply that times 2. So that's actually 3 teaspoons, which is also 1 tablespoon. So you can just do 1 tablespoon. So that's what I'm going to do right now.
That literally, I'm just going to
Where's the top? Here we are.
it wouldn't like.
Okay, and then I'm going to do my coconut flour, which is right here. So I'm going to do my 1/2 cup. Since 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup and I need 2 of that, I'm going to do a 1/2 cup. And fill it full. Okay, I'm going to mix that up. see, what else do I have here that you might look at? Oh, I know what you can see, or maybe you can't see them. My children's cups. So this is a recommendation for all you moms with multiple kids. I'd recommend getting color-coded cups. That way I know whose cup it is and who didn't clean up after themselves. So anyway, these are Parker and Hudson's. This is thickening up a lot. Turn this off. I also like to keep the plate that I use to warm up my cream cheese over here to like put all of my, I just plugged my phone in, all of my like dirty stuff because I don't want to have to clean up the counter. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in my waffle maker, which is right here. Let's see if I can do this with the camera. Hold on. Gonna plug it in, wait for it to warm up a sec. So I'm gonna go get my coconut spray and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. So I have my coconut oil spray. You can also use olive oil. I just like to use coconut, especially when I'm doing breakfast stuff. I'm gonna spray my pan here on my waffle maker. And now I'm gonna pour my batter in. Let's see how it's kind of thick. I actually think I'm gonna add a little bit of my milk first. Just gonna do maybe not a quarter cup, probably an eighth of a cup, just a little bit to get it a little softer, spreadable or runny. I guess it's not super runny, but anyway. Okay, here we go.
Please, blue.
I like to put just enough in the middle that it. I'll show you how much I put. About this much, so that when I close it, it doesn't come squeezing out the sides. So I'm supposed to let that cook for a couple minutes. When it finishes, I'll be back to show you how it turned out. Okay, here we go. This is how it turned out. Everybody can see. Nice, beautiful golden brown waffle that we will eat here shortly. I'm gonna make the rest of them and I'll be back. Okay, you guys, here we're back. I just want to show you what we made here with our waffle maker. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waffles with double that recipe, and I will post that recipe here shortly. It also said to add cinnamon. I don't know if I said that, but I did. Anyway, so now we're going to go over here and I'm going to do the breakfast sausage gravy. Let's see if you can see it over here. Okay, can everybody see me? Kind of. Let's see. Whoops. Okay, so my husband hunts, and we have a ton of venison in the freezer, and we have some sausage that we took to the mountains this weekend that we did not eat, so I'm going to use that. And the recipe calls for 4 ounces of sausage. I'm actually going to do twice that just to make it a little bit richer. I don't know, we like sausage, and my husband loves meat. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to actually make the rest of the sausage pound into patties for my kids. So I'll put it in here. I love to use a wooden spoon. It is the best spoon ever, especially when you're using a cast iron skillet, and it also breaks the meat up really well. So I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to brown this meat, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I just finished cooking the meat, and I put it on this plate here. I've got a little bit left. I'm just going to toss in here. Okey-dokey. That's Annabelle. Okay, now I'm going to turn the oven back on. Murphy, no. This is who's sniffing down here. Okay, so now I'm going to melt the butter. Okay, I'm going to put my 2 tablespoons of butter in. Let's see if you can see. Hey, Belly. Get this to melt. Okay, so the butter is melting. Nice and pretty. I'll get my spoon here and spread it around a bit. It's mixing with all that yummy sausage fat and yummy flavors. And now I'm going to pour my 1 cup of, 1 cup of, I'm trying not to spill it, whipping cream. Ooh. Thank you, Annabelle. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna let that, gotta change spoons now because that one fell on the floor. I'm gonna stir this up a little bit. Okay, now here's where something new for me came into the picture. So this recipe calls for gar gum. And I was like, what the heck? It's actually the same thing as xanthan gum, and that's what I ordered last week. So I'm gonna walk over here and grab it, and then we're gonna put it in.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks, Belly. Thank you. Hold on, let me walk over here. Okay. Here is the xanthan gum, which I looked for at every grocery store here except for Sprouts, and I have not been there yet to check. We have a new one, which I'm excited about. So I'm gonna add this, which is half of a teaspoon.
Sausage. Hi, I'm Annabelle.
This actually makes it thicken up a lot. So this is what will make it nice and thick and creamy. And we're just gonna stir it like this. As it's bubbling. Can you guys see the bubbles? It's just like a very little bit of a simmer. Make sure all that gets mixed in there. You want to be able to draw the spoon across the pan and for it not to flow back in like that. You see how it keeps covering up? We're just going to keep stirring for a little bit. Okay, so I've been stirring and it's thickening up. See how it doesn't close in as quickly as I pull the spoon across? So I'm actually going to turn the burner off right now because the cast iron pan is still hot and will continue to cook. And I'm going to dump my sausage in.
Hi, I'm back. It's my dog.
Go, 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 Missy. Silly girl.
It's my dog.
I'm going to mix this in. And then we're going to pour it over top of our waffles. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, so we're back. I actually made another batch of the gravy part, and then I added the sausage that I cooked and added to the first one back in there. So this is what it looks like now. It's a lot more gravy than there was before, so that's why I felt like I needed to double the recipe. So I think that's it for tonight. I will post a picture of what this looks like when we eat it, and also what we're gonna have for dessert. Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.